Is this probably the closest we've come to unity in some time between moderates and progressives?
I think so. I think we're definitely seeing unity between moderates and progressives. We just saw Biden come out with his plans for how he's going to address climate change. He's moved on that to the left. It sounds like he's listening to progressives and some of the things that we want to see in the upcoming White House with him as president and Donald Trump gone. But I feel like we are unified definitely against the president that we have now. However, I will say it's very important that this can't be another referendum on Trump. Like, we have to be talking about our issues and what we're fighting for, because when we don't set the agenda, we concede the agenda to the other party. So we definitely need to continue to still talk about the issues at hand that need big solutions.
Yeah. And you say not a referendum, just not reacting. We need to be proactive in terms of our issues. No, we need to start. That's one thing about our party. We always won't play defense. We need to play some offense, don't we?
Oh, absolutely. Definitely. I think what the problem is, either folks are complacent or they're afraid. And my thing is, we've elected you to be a leader, to put you in a position of power. You need to lead. You need to start speaking up for our communities, even if you feel like this might be a contentious issue for your reelection. We need changes now, and incrementalism is just not. It's not something that is sustainable. It's taking too long. I mean, people are hurting now, and we need to be addressing issues now.
Yeah. And we can be honest. One of the other fears is the cynicism about young voters. People think that young voters aren't going to come out to vote. They tend to have the most progressive ideas, so folks want to play it safe with older voters. But that's changing too, isn't? Aren't we finding? I don't know. You probably Gen Z, Nabilah, like me, huh?
Millennial.
Oh, you're a millennial. Okay, well I'm Gen Z, and no, I'm just kidding, of course. But we're seeing more people who are younger become more engaged. And it's kind of a chicken and egg thing. Some people who want to stay moderate say, well, we've got to appeal to older voters because young voters don't vote. Well, y'all ain't talking about nothing to inspire young voters to come out and vote. But hopefully that's beginning to change, isn't it?
Oh, absolutely. Like, you need to give people a reason to vote. And if you want to inspire the younger generation, they need to know that you're actually talking about the issues that are affecting their generation. I feel like moderates some of them are waking up to that fact that we need to be more bold, that we need to be engaging the younger generation, because we're not going to win these races without young people. And I'm very proud of Gen Z. They're super engaged, whether they're using TikTok, which I still don't have an account for, or Instagram. They're just very they're very engaged on social media in a way that I wasn't when I was their age. So I'm looking forward to all the work that they're going to produce. So I'm very excited about them.
Well, you and I definitely are not Gen Z if we don't have TikTok. But I love it. Nabilah, the night of the Tulsa rally, I think I stayed on Twitter all night watching the young kids just eat Donald Trump alive. It was the most beautiful thing. I mean, I was calling everybody. I said, you got to get on this and see this. I mean, it's amazing. And it shook him. He's not recovered since then. They don't have an answer for that. They do not have an answer for these young kids on TikTok. So no, that's a good thing. But Nabilah, let's do this because I want my audience in particular to be clear on the issues that are most important to us as progressives and how we delineate from the same old, same old. So talk to us about, what are some of the issues that define a true progressive these days when it comes to running for office?
So I would say, some of the biggest issues that I focused on myself during my campaign was healthcare, our climate crisis, student debt crisis that we have at hand, were some of and then the immigration crisis as well. I lived in my district is one of the most diverse districts in the country. And from day one, I supported Medicare for all. don't know how you don't support Medicare for all during a pandemic when millions of people have lost their insurance due to it being tied to employment. We have record unemployment right now. I think what makes a true progressive is someone that it speaks truth to power and advocates for issues or policies that will address the issues that we have right now. And another problem that I talked about on the campaign was the climate crisis. It's no longer climate change. We need big, bold solutions, and that's why I supported, a Green New Deal. I think it's imperative that we address such a large issue with bold ideas. I also talked about student debt cancellation and talking about how we need a one-time student debt cancellation because our generation, millennials, and are really suffering from the fact that they can't buy homes, they can't start families because we are bogged down with so much debt. And I feel like, that's something that would certainly not only stimulate the economy, but uplift our generation, most certainly. And also, while we're going through this pandemic, I think it's crucial that true progressives fight for working families, right? And we fight for them tooth and nail, making sure that, we need to be having monthly stimulus checks to families that are hurting right now. Working people are hurting, making sure that they have, health care. These are some of the things that seem super simple that you would think anyone would talk about. But for whatever reason, whether it's lack of courage or electability, people are not willing to speak about those issues in a strong, powerful way. So those are some of the things that I think are key indicators of what a true progressive would look like. But just someone that isn't afraid to speak up and will speak truth to power to what's happening to their communities and won't be afraid and will have the political courage to advocate for big, bold policies because that's the transformational change that we need, not incrementalism.
Yeah, you're absolutely right. And you mentioned immigrants as well. I mean, that is becoming an even larger part of our population, isn't it?
Oh, absolutely. I'm the daughter of immigrants. I grew up in a county that's the fourth most diverse county in the entire country. 20% of my district was born in a different country. And what we have right now is we need true comprehensive immigration reform. My county that I grew up in has the highest number of deportations in the state and in the country as well, because of an archaic immigration policy called 287G. Only 2% of counties have them in the entire country. But basically, our sheriffs are deputized to just pick up people that they think are illegal and essentially, have ICE deport them. So we've separated so many families. People are afraid of law enforcement. For many reasons. And, we really need a pathway to citizenship for the 11 million undocumented people in this country. I grew up with many people that were undocumented, now are on DACA. And I'm really glad that, DACA is safe for now. But we need a path to citizenship and really get people involved and engaged in the political process as well.
So wait a minute. The archaic policy in your county, and this is the same county in the 7th district, I presume, right? Okay. Only 2% of the counties have. So why is that surviving even in your county? Why is that still in effect?
Because Republicans have been, controlling all levels of power, and that has changed since 2016. We have become more blue, but we have a Republican sheriff who voluntarily in 2010 brought in this policy from ICE. Where he partnered up with ICE. It's called 287G, and which allows, as I mentioned, our local law enforcement to be deputized to do ICE's work. And because of this, we've seen a spike in people being arrested. Even if you're driving through Gwinnett County, you get arrested for like your taillight or something, and they look you up and you don't have documentation, they can put you in a holding cell and they will call ICE to pick you up and deport you. I've heard countless of stories, like heartbreaking stories of people losing siblings, mothers and fathers. A lot of people have grown up in mixed status families. You take out a parent, everyone suffers. And so it's just been such a debilitating program to our community. And I'm actually happy because the part I'm happy about is this Republican sheriff is leaving, and we have some really great sheriff candidates who've all pledge to end this program once they get elected in November. And I'm actually endorsed one of them, Curtis Clemens. But I think what we need is true leadership change, and it happens from the top when they implement these policies. But like, we can actually move and pick the candidates that will reflect our communities and work for us.